The Autocratic Federalist Society 6 are now just trumped up ghouls. You wouldn't even believe all the ridiculousness with their most recent decision. It's absolutely absurd.
The Supreme Court closed out its term this week, delivering 3 decisions. One of those cases concerns a Christian web designer named Lorie Smith, who was planning to one day, maybe, perhaps, I don't know, possibly, open up her business to designing wedding websites. Let's be clear, she had not done so yet. But when she someday makes those hypothetical wedding websites, she wants the right to refuse service to gay couples on religious grounds. In her case to the Supreme Court, she cited one example of a potential client, a man named Stewart, who was requesting a wedding site for himself and someone named Mike. Smith's lawyers allege Stewart's request came just one day after she filed her initial suit back in 2016. And on Friday, the Supreme Court sided with Smith. Here's where the story takes an odd turn. This past week, as the Supreme Court was deciding the case, reporter Melissa Jarrett Grant with the New Republic gave Stewart a call to confirm his side of the story. It turns out Melissa's call was the very first time Stewart had heard of the case or Lorie Smith. In fact, Stewart is already married to a woman. Stewart told Melissa, quote, "I wouldn't want anybody to make a wedding website. I'm married. I have a child. I'm not really sure where that came from, but somebody's using false information in a Supreme Court filing document."
I know you're good, Andy, but all that paper leaves a trail. It's going to lead to somebody.
Randall Stephen. He's a phantom, an apparition, second cousin to Harvey the Rabbit. I conjured him out of thin air.
So, this case was based purely on the imagination of a would-be Christian web designer. There was no injured party involved, and the Supreme Court still ruled in favor of the web designer. And now, Colorado's discrimination law is toast. Joining me now is the reporter who broke this story for the New Republic, Melissa Jarrett Grant.
The case, as you mentioned, was already built on a fiction. This was an injury that had never happened. This was a person who has never offered this product or service. And this case seems to have been brought by Alliance Defending Freedom, which is a Christian nationalist and anti-LGBTQ law project. No one asked this woman to make a website. There's a certain level of a suspension of disbelief you have to engage in to think that a web designer in San Francisco would hire a web designer in Colorado who's never even made this product. Like, why on earth would he even make this inquiry?
The U.S. Supreme Court is bound. Our founders in Article 3 said you have to have an actual case or controversy in order to go to the United States Supreme Court. It's a fake case. There is no controversy. The Colorado Attorney General should be going back to the United States Supreme Court now. There is a procedure to seek rehearing and to get this decision stricken from the books, and I think that's what should happen here.
What you have with the Lorie Smith case, it's fake. You've got a fake reality, a fake court, a fake decision. And mind you, this takes place in Colorado. Gee, that's where Neil Gorsuch is from. So somebody planted a case in Colorado with somebody who runs a website company, except for she doesn't make websites. Just kind of interesting that Neil Gorsuch is from Colorado. I wonder if he might have the kinds of connections that could make this happen. Or could it be any of the other dark money people? Leonard Leo's friends. We don't know. That's the problem here. The corruption is just unending. They don't talk about it. They don't apologize for it. They don't have any ethics. They don't care. Clarence Thomas getting these free vacations from Harlan Crow, a billionaire who then has interest before the court. Like Clarence gets to go for a nice ride in his yacht. And Ginny Thomas getting money from the Federalist Society. Leonard Leo, the head of it, said, get money to her, but don't let anybody know it came from us. Justice Roberts, his wife, make $10 million recruiting top legal minds for law firms. Shocker. Gorsuch, his land is bought by a partner at Greenberg Aurig, a bunch of land out in Colorado. This goes on and on. Alito, flights to Rome and to Alaska, a fishing vacation in Alaska paid for by Paul Singer, who's a billionaire, a hedge funder, big supporter of Republicans. Cases before the court. In Rome, I love that one. He took a flight to Rome to go and basically boast about how he overturned Roe versus Wade, and it was paid for by one of the groups that sued to overturn Roe versus Wade. And that's the thing. We're at 10 levels of ridiculousness. During Trump's term, he wants to buy Greenland. Or, oh yeah, he asked if he could shoot protesters. Or, oh yeah, he thought he could bomb a drug cartel in Mexico and nobody would know where it came from. Where'd the missile come from? Oh, it must have been from Portugal or Greenland, I'm sure. The difference is that this Supreme Court actually went ahead and did it. They don't give a shit. They don't think they have to answer to us. They're a super legislature, as Congressman Richie Torres called them. A star chamber.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
The Supreme Court has gotten to this level, thoroughly corrupt, incompetent, don't care what we think, shove it in our faces. To put it as this Supreme Court sees it, they're the ones who knock.
I am not in danger. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
This court is absolutely out of control and absurd.